Oh, welcome back. A Nigeria-based Pan-African lender UBA Group says all dollar deposits belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum and the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Company have been remitted to the Treasury single account. Now, on Tuesday, the CBN announced the suspension of 9 commercial banks from all forex transactions until they remit an estimated $2.12 billion belonging to the NNPC and NLNG to the TSA as directed by the Nigerian government a year ago. A top official of the central bank confirms that some of the defaulting banks have started the repayment of the money, which totaled some $6 billion last year when the Treasury single account became fully operational. And what is the implications of this move by the Central Bank of Nigeria to bar 9 commercial banks from all foreign exchange transactions and operations? Let's talk to Dr. Biodo Adedipe, an economist and a financial and management consultant. Good afternoon, Dr. Adedipe.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you on the program. Now, 9 banks barred from forex transactions and operations. What will be the implication of this for businesses and, of course, individuals like you and I who would want to access foreign exchange through that window, given that there's already a lot of challenges accessing funds?
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing on this issue. I think there are important 4 perspectives to this that we should be looking at. First is to recognize the importance and sensitivity of banking business to start with, especially in the contemporary economy where payments have to come through their platforms. Now, secondly, is the fact that the narrative about this particular deposit in the dollar deposit is that the figure we had at the beginning was much higher than what we have now. It means a good number of the banks have been making remittances based on the repayment plan that they are giving the central bank. Now, that said, I also want to recognize the fact that, yes, the banks have social responsibility to behave right, quite all right. But then the nature of banking business, which you must not lose sight of, is that if a bank receives deposits, no matter the currency you are looking at, all it has as responsibility is to ensure that a certain portion of that is retained while it can trade with the rest of it. Now, if the banks traded with what by law and even by prudential guidelines they are allowed to trade with, and suddenly there is a call for that fund, it means there has to be some understanding that this can only be done over a period of time. Yes, the banks have been doing this, but not at the rate agreed with the central bank. And that'll be my final, comment on this. And that is, when we are in a situation like this, the state of the economy and our finances, we need to be a little bit more creative, I would say, and perhaps more pragmatic in the way we handle issues. And the bottom line of it is this. This dollar amount we are talking about went to the banks as deposits, which came from dividends paid by NLNG to NNPC. Now, the argument is that this money should have gone to the fiduciary account. If that is the case, the question is, does fiduciary account need dollars or naira? Do we share dollars on the fiduciary account or we share naira? And so in which case, being a little bit more pragmatic could perhaps make us say, look, these balance banks are having problems to remit in the light of the current state of the external sector of the Nigerian economy. Shouldn't we begin to look at it as, if they have capacity now, can they remit this in naira terms? In which case, look at the naira equivalent, is what comes out of the fiduciary account anyway. So and then we say, given the current situation we are in, let us allow the banks to remit the naira equivalent. And of course, the other side that any action like this by the central bank, no doubt, will create some concerns and worries among banking stakeholders. And that is why I think we should be a little bit more pragmatic in handling situations of this nature.
Okay, you talked about the concerns. Of course, for these banks, what are now these concerns, the implications of this move by the CBN for the banks? Not just the banks that are affected, even the banks that are not affected?
The industry generally. In fact, that really is my own worry here. Because with this kind of action, the reaction by most bank stakeholders will be that who knows, whether these banks truly are not as healthy as they are, presented to be. And consider the fact that only last week the central bank issued a statement saying that none of our banks is distressed and that we should all deal with them confidently. So now, if this kind of action follows a week after, now, for those who do not fully understand the way the banking system works, they will begin to have worries, not just about the banks mentioned, but about the entire industry. And that is why I think we should be a little bit more pragmatic, not only dealing with the situation, but even the way we handle and communicate about them to the banking public.
Right. Now we have seen how far the Naira has been trading since CBN came up with its new FX policy. Now with this do you see the Naira depreciating further, as a result of this on both markets, actually? Well,
on the face of it, yes, if the banks are compelled to look for this money, that means they become desperate to buy, on the one hand, and then on the other hand, we look at that vis-a-vis the availability of the currency they want to buy. So, and the real bottom line is that this currency is not there in the quantity that the market demands. So this brings now additional pressure of demand on that market. And the inevitable thing to expect, if this must be done within a short window, that central bank is insisting the bank should deliver it, certainly is going to put depreciation pressure on the Naira.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Dr. Adedipe. That was Dr. Biodo Adedipe, financial and management consultant there. And now we move on. Burkina Faso will issue a 50 billion CFA franc 7-year bond with a 6.5% coupon on September 1. The bond will be sold in units of 10,000 CFA francs across the 8-nation CFA franc currency zone via an auction organized by the West African Regional Central Bank. And now we take a quick break. When we return, we'll look at what's happening at the FMDQ or to see intraday debt market. Do stay with us.